Breaking news on the U.S. bond market. Crazy, I tell you. Crazy as a fox. Check this out. 10-year Treasury. Back below 4, a 3.976. The 10-year Treasury hasn't been below, let's see, to hit right there. The first time since January 3rd. The first time since January 3rd, the 10-year Treasury has been below 4%. And it's the first time since January 3rd. Let's see. Right there. 2023. So with a massive increase in debt, crazy. No one's going to buy our bonds. It's crazy talk, Josh. No one's going to buy our debt because of massive increase in debt. And yet, 10-year Treasury is below 4% again. Let's take a look at the 30. No one's going to want to lock in their money for long-term debt, really? Because, I mean, my goodness, the U.S. is done for. Oh. What's the 10-year? What's the 30-year Treasury? 4.271. Oh my goodness. All right. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, I like higher interest rates because I like seeing in my money market account. They haven't dropped rates yet. But no one's going to buy our debt. So let's take a look who that no one's going to buy our debt, because obviously people are going to sell because of massive federal deficit and debts, right? Oh, by the way, I'm working on my man Craig Israelson's software here, the retirement analyzer. So we're going to do a quarterly webinar on that. I think you'll like that, quarterly webinar. So that'd be fun. So working on tons of stuff in here. It's confusing as all it can be because I'm just a caveman. But let's see who these people who are not buying our debt are, right? So here's EDV, one of my holdings. Long government bonds, zero coupon bonds. You don't get any interest at all. Zero coupon bonds. Yes, already had 902,000 shares trading hands today. You got a bid and ask, 2 cents apart. No one's going to buy the debt. This is long, zero coupon bonds. And yet you got over probably $1 million what time is it right now? Yeah, $1 million will trade hands. 1 million shares will trade hands by the end of the close of the day. Let's do BND, shall we? BND. This is going to be the Vanguard Total Bond ETF. The predominant amount is treasuries and other government-sponsored enterprise stuff. 5 million shares have traded hands today. But no one's going to buy our debt, Josh. Don't you know? 5 million. That means, when you think about 5 million, what does that mean? That means there's been buyers and sellers. Half have been on the buy side, half been on the sell side. But no one's going to buy our debt. I don't know, what's another one? We'll look at as BND. I don't know. Let's think about the Ginnie Mae. We'll see. Ginnie Mae. I don't have a Ginnie Mae. Do they even show? I'm not sure. There's no Ginnie Mae ETF. What's Vanguard short-term treasury right here? 1.7 million shares have traded hands today. Remember, for every seller, there's a buyer. So that means someone is buying it, someone's selling it. Who are these people? I don't know. I haven't made any transactions for a long time because I'm not dumb. I don't get into this stuff on a regular basis because it's stupid. Some people do and they do fine. I mean, look, I don't. I know I don't because I know I'd be dumb. I'll be, I'm buying and selling. Yeah, watch my portfolio go to 0 in 2 seconds flat. So let me just show you something here. I was reading. Where is I reading this from? Check this out. Across this post from my man Andrew Biggs, who I'm a big fan of. So Andrew says, well, he posts from Charles Cook, who I think used to write for the Wall Street Journal, National Review. I don't know if he does anymore. But anyway, so Andrew says, while eliminating income tax on Social Security may be popular, the political problem is that unlike most tax cuts, it's easy to quantify the cost. All right. So then he's responding to this from Charles Cook. What, buddy? You gotta just chill. And I just want to show you this. Cutting tax on Social Security would be the mathematical equivalent of increasing spending on the program by $87 billion a year. We're at $35 trillion in debt. That's a bad idea. However, polls, of course, I had to say, defund NASA. $70 million a day goes that waste of space. No one's like that because all the libertarians, they love space. You know, the libertarians who hate the government, they love space. Oh, come here. They never wanted to fund space programs. All right, hold on a second. Pablo's getting antsy. I just want to show you some of the silliness here. And if you have this on my YouTube channel, I don't get you, man. Right here, we are doomed. Unless we cut spending drastically, which all politicians are too cowardly to do, we are doomed. We're doomed. And I said, tell me when the doom happens. 10 years, 5 years, 50. When is this doom going to come? Because people have been saying this for decades, and it's never happened. Let's see. Let's check this out. Right here. Social Security is not supposed to be funded. Let's come back to the bond stuff. By income tax. Are you coming out of the closet in support of our bloated budget and high taxes? Well, when do you want to start cutting the military? That's all I want to know. Let's cut it. When do we want to start? Because the budget hasn't covered anything. We're running massive deficits, which add to the massive debt we already have. It's like a real life of the party. A Catholic Bitcoiner. Unless either side is willing to tackle government spending and money printing, which isn't happening anytime soon, runaway inflation and debt will be our children's birthright. Huh? Never heard that before. They talked about that in 1983 in the midst of the Republican Reagan's massive increases in debt. And they always said the same thing. We'll never be able to pay the debt. Never be able to pay the debt. It has never been paid. And yet our interest rate, they always said massive runaway inflation. The dollar won't be worth anything. No one will buy our bonds, which will lead to higher interest rates. And yet, look, dudes, look, 10 years, that's a 30-year treasury. People right now are willing to lock in their money for 30 years, getting less than almost 4.25. For 10 years, getting less than 4. How could this possibly be? Where's the runaway inflation? You think these people don't know that runaway inflation would destroy the value of those bonds, and yet they're still willing to buy it? Crazy, all these doomsayers. I'm sitting there thinking, you ever thought you're just wrong? I mean, I don't know, but you literally, let me read you from my book, and you should buy it. Check this out. 1983, addressing President Reagan, Democrat James Exon from Nebraska said, the United States was so deeply in virtually unrepayable debt that it faced runaway inflation or the biggest tax increase in history. 1984 was the year we were supposed to balance the budget. Two things faced us in the 1984 election. The most monumental tax increase in histoire or runaway inflation that may engulf our economy as we know it. And yet, neither is happening. Crazy. We had runaway inflation. No, inflation's not runaway. We had that's the 30-year treasury right there, 4.25. 30-year treasury. I mean, it's like the climate change people. At some point, your predictions of doom and despair have to come true, else we just don't listen to you anymore. But it's got to happen. Why? Well, because no one's going to buy our bonds. When? All right, love your thoughts. God bless.